You say that the Common Council, you tell the Common Council and the Norwalk Redevelopment Agency that it's time to move from concept to conversation and put shovels in the ground. You sound impatient with them. Is that a correct characterization?
I wouldn't characterize this as impatient as much as I would say is that August is a very important month for various approvals for the SoNo Mall, and that if the council and redevelopment agency don't take those important steps during the month of August, then it will put the project back another 6 months. Frankly, the proposal for the mall was not submitted, but was brought to the city 21 months ago. There's been lots of hearings, there's been lots of conversation. It's really time at this point for the conversations to wind up and for people to get to yes and to put shovels in the ground.
Based on my reading of the investigation the council is conducting, comments by the redevelopment agency, even comments from the public, it sounds to me like they have a ways to go before they're ready to sign off on this. Am I mischaracterizing that?
Well, the final vote from the council should be in October. There's a number of different steps between now and October, such as the planning committee of the council can recommend it to the full council at the end of August. And then redevelopment agency can do similar work that they have to do in August as well. And then there can still, of course, be time for public input. But there has been already a lot of public input, and I don't want to minimize that. But the council and the redevelopment agency should know through the public input that there is a tremendous amount of support in the city for this concept and this idea. It will be a real game changer for the city of Norwalk. You already have two high-end stores that are coming to the mall, Bloomingdale's and Nordstrom's. There's an agreement with the city to keep this a Class A mall, so it'll be really a high-end mall, unlike any other in the state. It's going to be something that really will be a sense of pride for the city, and I think will be one where people will be a major destination. And they're estimating over, 1 million visits a year to the mall. So this is important for $5 million of tax revenue to the city. It's thousands of jobs. There's a number of different benefits for the city. In addition to that, this is a long-term good for the city because of the fact of the agreement that the city has put in place through the mayor's efforts, through the corporation council's efforts, and others who've worked hard on this. But we got to get to a point where we say yes, and we can put those shovels in the ground. And can I also just mention one other thing too?
Please do.
The state has invested tens of millions of dollars into this area with the hopes that it will benefit the city and the state at the same time. Right now, this field of flowers or this kind of hole in the ground is doing nobody any good. It's not doing the city any good, the state any good, not doing taxpayers any good. So we don't want to just take whatever is there or the first offer that comes along, but it's been empty or it's been hanging around for at least 20 years or so. This, I think, is good for the city, and it really is important that we move along on it.
The obviously the council, the Tim Sheehan, the redevelopment agency, I would say they're going to argue that they're doing their due diligence. Do you think at this point that it's excessive?
I think a lot of the due diligence has been done over the last 21 months where the mall was first proposed, and then they have listened to the public, the developers have. The council and the redevelopment agency had those joint meetings on those Saturdays over the winter time. There's been lots of people who have been providing input, which is important. But again, through all of that input, there should be some recognition of the tremendous amount of support in this community for this project. Again, not just for the jobs, not just for the tax revenue, but for the fact of what it will do for the city from a standpoint of how people will view our city. We have a number of different redevelopment projects happening right now, whether it's Head of the Harbor or Poco or Wall Street Place or West Avenue. Those are all extremely important for us, as is this project as well. And it's important for us as a city over the next generation to have this and to recognize the fact that this will be a game changer for our city.